Whether you're a weeb who consumes anime in place of your daily nutrition, or have at least been into anime for a while, there's this one dream or wishful thinking of, oh, I want to work in the anime industry because doing something you're so passionate about is your ninja way. But while you are excited that there is finally something you feel like you're destined to do, fears and doubt shrouded you through the media, convincing you otherwise that it is a dying business where your effort is worth just as much as a slave's. You, a foreigner, are cooked. Yet there's a burning flame inside because this is something you dare achieve or maybe have committed in the name of passion before even having some kind of grand plan or anything because you love anime so much and this is the way. It leaves you confused on how exactly should you realistically deal with whatever on earth of a crossroad this is. And to help you with that, here's a select few practical considerations to approach the decision-making process of whether your ambition of throwing yourself into the industry is nothing but a pipe dream or an actual opportunity for you to grab. And contrary to what you expect, it obviously begins with abandoning your dream. Yes, throw that self-image out of the window for a second, because you'll have to make sure you possess enough proficiency for a professional level jobs. And they'd want you to go up to a bare minimum of N2 level on the job duty standard, which is collectively accurate for various positions within the anime industry. And while you might think being able to read hiragana katakana or converse through robotic conversation is enough, please tell me nobody actually thinks this way. This industry requires you tons of unique technical languages that also demand you to necessarily communicate them throughout production. And this will absolutely nuke you otherwise. So taking the time necessary to practice your Japanese is the first thing you should be worrying about, as the consensus length needed to study up to N2 is approximately 2,200 hours from day 1, which will take you around 3 years of 2 hours consistent study a day. Oh, and when you heard learn Japanese, I didn't just mean their language, but to also live among the Japanese. I know it's often an exaggeration on how people see Japanese society as this sort of perfect, rigid alien civilization that living among them would feel magical, but no. They just may be one of the strictest communities you find, so if you've been living life leisurely in slow-living countries, this is something you'll have to eventually adapt to by getting to know how their society operates daily. Moreover, considering it is a creative industry where being detail-oriented is a must, just don't even learn about it from anime, I beg you. So take your time, decide whether living your daily life and getting out of your comfort zone is worth it. And if you feel like you have what it takes, it's the perfect stage to decide what specific field you intend to dive into among a variety to choose from. Because the process of making anime is such a complex production that it requires not just one, but multiple departments collectively cooperating for an end product. And aside from picturing yourself doing that job, consider variables such as how flexible could your career path be in the long term? Will you be able to improve your life and not just eat rice bowls from convenience stores for breakfast every day? Or as simple as, will you be seeing yourself delving into the same field in a decade? And is it too competitive for you? Think of it like this. You are an entry-level animator who draws in betweens. This allows you to predict and aim for a higher positions on the structure later. Perhaps you've got a chance of becoming a supervisor who manages keyframes, or even be entrusted with directing the whole department, or an episode where the downstream is possibly even a project director itself. But then there's also the voice acting department you are aiming, assuming you are also committed to that, which is an industry that practically takes only Japanese people for obvious reasons related to the tax. Hence why this is basically an impossible competition on your end, which you shouldn't bother going into. Here, you see two different positions bringing you into contrasting career directions, where it's pretty much decided which one you should be striving for. Because the next point I want you to focus on is making sure that chosen route is feasibly right for you. Though the question stands, what exactly is the ideal life? You'll find all sorts of attempts to set a standard regarding your ideal life, where it's about having ample money to do whatever you want to do or having enough time and chance to do whatever, but in all honesty, it's best to define it yourself. As each of you has your own standard to begin with, what kind of lifestyle have you been having or would you prefer having? It's only realistic that you decide for yourself, because don't forget that living abroad here isn't only about being comfortable, but also leaving you in satisfaction at the end of the day. This isn't about being only egoistic or staying inside the bubble, but you shouldn't be regretting such a significant life choice in any shape or form. And last but not least, check yourself. The last thing you want to be hit on by is a rejection saying you're not competent enough for the job. And all of this would be as useful as the budget spent on One Punch Man 3, cause passion, unfortunately, doesn't feed us food. So a self-check to make sure you are in the ideal place for it with the right skill and capability is the last step before actually declaring this plan confirmed. Finally, we've now learned just how to realistically approach the anime industry from a POV of a nobody. Now, need I remind you again, will this finally bring you into your dream of making money of your favorite 2D cartoons? No. But this will shed insights on how to identify prospects and build your own path in something you are interested in after recognizing your own plus and limits. After knowing what to expect, I hope it's clear as day that none of you should be forcing yourself into believing that you are fit to be there just because you think you're passionate enough toward this medium. Because what's valuable in the eyes of an employer and what's going to bring food on the table is contribution. Now, you don't have to necessarily like what you are working on, though as long as it's something that grants value for the other party, then it's only right that you receive something in return. But it's still fine to not have everything figured out all by now. If anything, anime taught me that a destination feels fulfilling thanks to the journey, and that is the same with you. So please do prioritize looking for a way to contribute.